What's up, peeps? Welcome back to another math vid. Today we're going to be looking at some areas and perimeters, except they're not normal areas, perimeters, and they're not just triangles, and they're not just squares, and they're not just rectangles. So our first question today is, a rectangular swimming pool is 8 meters long and 6 meters wide. It has a concrete walkway around it, as shown by the shaded area below. I'm just going to color in the shaded area with some blue. If the walkway is 2 meters wide, what is the area of the concrete walkway? So 2 meters wide, as you can see here. We did something similar to this in a previous video, where there's 2 meters over here, and there's 2 meters over here, so we just know that that's 2 meters. So that means there's 2 meters on each side. So that means that we have to add 2 meters to each of these, because there's 2 meters on each side, and there's 2 of them, so it's just 2 times 4, 2 equals 4. So we have to add 4 to each of these numbers. And so now we have that equation down. We need to know what the area of the concrete walkway is. And the walkway, as you can see, is somewhat on top of the swimming pool, as shown in this drawing. So if we just solve 8 plus 4 multiplied by 6 plus 4, then that would be counting in the swimming pool's area as well. So that means we also have to solve the swimming pool area and subtract that from the total of the walkway and the swimming pool. So, also thinking about that, we have 8 plus 4 multiplied by 6 plus 4. Which, on the other hand, is just 12 times 10, which is 120. So now we have 120, and now we need to solve for the swimming pool's area, which we all know is 8 times 6, 48. So it would be 120 subtract 48. So this is our end equation. And how do we solve this without taking it a lot of time? Well, by first, you know how 48 is 40 plus 8. We can subtract 40 from 120 first, which is 80, and then 80 subtract 8. So that means it's 72. And most of us already know that it definitely cannot be 32. But if you aren't sure and it's like a bigger number, which you're not very experienced in, you could just use that method instead of taking out the algorithm, because that usually takes quite a bit of time. Our next question. And I need to get my highlighter out. I just selected the wrong thing. Okay, the path around the garden is 14 yards long and 12 yards wide, as shown by the shaded area below. So this is our shaded area this time. And it's already telling us what the lengths are, so we don't need to go through all that again. If the garden is 11 yards long and 9 yards wide, what is the area of the path? This has the same logic as the last one. So, as it said, the path here is 14 and 12. But we're solving for only the path and not the garden included. And just like the last one, if we only solve 14 times 12, that would include the garden inside as well. So, then of course, we have to subtract 11 times 9, because that is the garden. So this one is a lot more straightforward than the other one. It actually tells you the dimensions. So now that we've got that, how do we solve 14 times 12 without breaking out the algorithm again? Well, it's pretty simple. You know what 12 times 12 is, right? It's 144. And you know what 12 times 2 is? It's 24. So this is making use of the distributive method, where you spread out 14 into 12 and 2. And then after that, you just add 144 and 24 together. Voila. So 144 and 24, as we all know, is 168. Subtract 99, because 11 times 9, pretty simple. So before we break out and try to solve this, let's look at the answer choices first. Well, it's definitely not 99, and that's one of the only ones that ends in the 9. And it can't be 168, and it can't be 30, because those two don't end in 9, because as you know, 18 subtract 9 equals 9. So it has to be 69. Because 90 times 2, is already 180. And 168 is less than 180, so it can't be anything above 90, and it can't be 90 itself. So it has to be something below 90. And there's only one here that ends with 9 and is below 90, which is C. All right, moving on to the next question. Let me scroll up. Okay. It keeps sliding. I don't know why. All right, so what is the area of the shaded portion of the figure above? So this is just like the shaded portion. There's a few non-shaded portions, but we'll deal with that. So as it says, the shaded portion. So our complete dimension of the shape already is, as you can see, you've got 10 inches and a 10 inches. So it's asking you for the area. And when you think of the area, it's length times width. In this case, they're both 10. So it's 10 times 10. And these little cubes here, squares, they're 2 by 2. And there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, also using that information, and these are not shaded, mind you, because they're white. They're white here. So it's 10 times 10, subtract. 1 cube is 2 times 2, its area, which is 4, and there's 4. So our complete equation would be 4 times 4 here. So it's 10 times 10, subtract 4 times 4. Now, when we go out and solve that, 100 subtract 16. And before we solve that as well, let's look at the answer choices. Aha! There's only one that ends in 4, because 10 subtract 6 equals 4. And yeah, I hope this video helped you guys learn at least a bit more about math, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Also, enjoy this beautiful painting I made. It took me a very long time. Well, fake painting.